Our appointment with Italian entrepreneurs in Australia is back. This morning, Luigi Lattanzio came to visit us here in our Sydney studios. Luigi Lattanzio is the owner of Innovative Automation. Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning, Francesca.
Your company deals with home automation. A strange word. What is home automation used for?
Home automation is actually a term that is used for home automation and therefore all electrical and electronic devices, everything that surrounds us in the house. Let's say that it is part of our system in essence. All these components communicate with each other, and therefore this sort of home automation is created. That these anticipate a little the daily actions that can be managed more effectively.
Give me some practical examples.
So, for example, if we find ourselves in a situation where we leave the house, we need to turn off all the lights. We don't need to go around the house. You just have to insert the burglar alarm, and the automation takes care of turning off all the lights, turning off the air conditioning, maybe leaving some lights on to show that we are in presence, and maybe turn off later. That is, you can create a series of automations so that everything becomes more managed and also gives you energy savings.
Are they always things related to home security systems anyway?
Security systems. So we talk about energy saving because it is managed effectively. Security because all the security, such as cameras, anti-theft devices are all synchronized with each other, so they create these automatisms. Then, of course, there is also the comfort part. It is always convenient. And then we give an additional value to stoning.
So I leave the house, set my alarm, and what happens?
It happens that the burglar alarm, being connected with all the other devices in the house, turn off or interact according to a schedule or routine that we have created at the gesture of inserting the anti-theft device. So whatever we want or normally do happens in that situation where the burglar alarm is engaged.
So it can be customized.
If we take an example of returning home, when the burglar alarm is disarmed, if it is a day or night situation, could we make different scenarios? Like, when it's daytime, lights come on, then turn off after the shutters are fully open. Or maybe the air conditioning turns on, while at night there is no need to open the shutters, for example. It depends on the time or what you actually want to do. But it's all managed effectively and anticipates actions.
You were also involved in this in Italy, right? Tell us a little about the background of
All this. So, automation, or my passion for home automation, was born in 2007. I had accumulated a few years of experience as an electrician. At that point, I was working there with an industrial automation company. A friend asks me if he could help him make an alarm system, and at that point, while he was helping him, he had electric shutters. I thought of connecting them to the alarm system to automate them in such a way that when the burglar alarm was activated, the shutters closed, and vice versa. Obviously, this thing here had intrigued me. It had fascinated me, and I told the story to a colleague of mine from industrial automation, an engineer, who told me that he had made a principle of home automation. And from there, I began to be interested in this term.
But when did you decide to try the bet of home automation here too?
So actually, the bet of the automatic was born as soon as I arrived, basically because I paused a bit with my passion for the subject of visas, etc., retraining myself. So I would go through the whole procedure to settle here in Australia. After a few months in Australia, I decided to contact this Italian company that had taken a certification course. I was certified with them. After contacting them, he was happy with the idea of opening a distribution here in Australia, so he thought about collaborating.
So you basically brought these Italian systems of this company to Australia.
It was still 2018 practically as soon as I arrived, to tell you that the passion has always been there and we have cultivated it. Obviously from there to when we actually opened the business. So Innovative Automation has been a few years to finish the qualifications, citizenship, visa, etc. But during this course here from 2018 to 2024 when I opened the business, so I installed a system for my employer who was my sponsor. And then I also installed another system, a home display. And there I trained the electrician, and from there I realized that there were technical problems as the electricians did not know, be it automatic or maybe how to install it, how to program it, And it was a bit difficult because then in the end, I had to take matters into my own hands and complete the system myself. At that point there, I realized that there was a need for a company that actually took care of the installation locally. So not only to export the product with the company from Italy, but also to install it.
So the range of action of what you then proposed to start last year has expanded even more.
Then, of course, I worked with another company in Australia to get a little bit of automation knowledge, like we say, the brands they use, and a little bit to figure out what I could do in my future with my project.
So you have done the market research on the
Field. That's right. I haven't really done the research. I've done the work currently. And from there, then, I decided to do this thing here in the company. And today, we also try to do training precisely because there are these gaps of electricians because they do not have enough knowledge of the system.
But is it a problem related to the fact that home automation here in Australia is not developed or required as in Italy, or just the fact that there are different systems?
So, I believe that in Australia, those who do electrical systems, he is very specialized in that sector there, and therefore find a specialization that then expands beyond the electrical system engineering. You then have to go to the automation sector, which are a bit separate. Instead, in Italy, we tried to do a bit of everything. Also, because it is advisable to know how to do everything in essence, as when installing a home automation system, you have to interact with everything a little, with the electrical system, with automations, therefore also with air conditioning, with music. That is, you need to have a bit of extensive knowledge. So for those who are used to working sectorally as only electrical systems, they get a bit stuck on that thing there. So the idea of training these electricians comes from the fact that you have to intervene from the beginning, from the basics, and therefore automation could expand better in the future.
How did you move? Because it is also an area that I imagine is quite niche, different from what you were used to in Italy.
Obviously, I wanted to offer a different product from the one on the common market in Australia, and therefore having this knowledge, this collaboration with the Italian company. So I wanted to bring the Italian style with Italian technology and then apply it to the Australian market, and I therefore saw differences that could be applied.
So this is very interesting. The Italian spirit also in home automation. Can you explain to us, giving a practical example, what this thing means?
So obviously, when we talk about Italianness at the level of home automation, maybe we are talking about a style of, for example, in Italy, we have switches. Switches formed in a different way from those that are normally used here. Then later it evolved, touch plates were created, and so on.
So even style in such a technical field has its raison d'etre?
If we only talk about the buttons, we have the plates that perhaps show a little of the Italian style, the design, the shape, etc. Then if we talk about technology, which is also a bit of the difference that this Isidome brand makes with the software, the one that stands out a bit from the others, it would be that of the floor plans displayed on the touch screen, which can then be viewed both on the application and locally from home. These floor plans that represent the house in 3D are made up of icons, and therefore each icon represents an electrical utility, and therefore it is very easy to manage and automate what you want. On the other hand, in Australia, it is very common to have very long lists of utilities. Going to identify which light needs to be checked at that moment becomes a little more difficult.
In the meantime, I remind those who listen to us that we are here in the studio with Luigi Lattanzio, owner of Innovative Automation, a company born in only last year. But precisely, as Luigi was telling us, it is a story that you have been carrying with you for several years, also in Italy. Here, having been an entrepreneur in Italy, and being a new entrepreneur in Australia today, what were the challenges you had to face here in Australia that you didn't expect or that put you in difficulty?
In terms of business difficulties, I can't say that it was challenging, but I can say that it is difficult to enter the market. Certainly because the home automation sector is a niche sector, as you said before. Perhaps the most difficult point was precisely to promote a new system in a new environment that I did not know. That I can say for sure that it was a difficult thing.
What feedback have you had so far?
So, feedback from people who don't know what home automation is. So you have to start from the basics, which I expected, which you already knew. Then, of course, people who know that it costs a lot and that it cannot be used in existing houses. So we can say that, if it is true, home automation may have been created as a niche because it used to cost a lot. Setting up a home automation system, as it was necessary to wire a house specifically for home automation, so it was necessary to spend more time on installation, more materials to install, many skills were needed. So I have a lot of knowledge of the installer to do this home automation. Instead, today home automation comes to our aid with new technologies that move a little wirelessly. So we can simply install new switches that connect with the rest of the buttons in the automation, basically with a hub that is called that, and that would be the brain of the house. So they begin to talk to each other, and these automatisms are created where you can also connect the air conditioning, what you want in essence, everything that is part of the electrical system and security.
What is your dream for innovative automation in the next 10 years? What would you like to achieve with the enterprise you are carrying out today?
I would like to create a team of electricians who help me install and expand the product significantly. Maybe install not only here in Melbourne, and then expand to other states as well. So New South Wales or Queensland.
Thank you very much to Luigi Lattanzio for coming to visit us this morning. Obviously, good luck for the next 10 years of this business.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And more than 10 years, we hope.